Hello everyone, welcome to Python Application Programming Lecture Series.
In this video, we are going to discuss about classes and objects and attributes. Python is an object-oriented programming language, and class is a basis for any object-oriented programming language. Class is a user-defined data type which binds the data and function together into single entity. Class is just a prototype or a logical entity or blueprint which will not consume any memory. An object is an instance of a class and it has a physical existence. One can create any number of objects for a class. A class can have a set of variables, also known as attributes, memory variables, and member function, also known as methods. So for example, so consider car. So here car is the class and objects are so this is the first object. So let us assume this is the Lamborghini and this is the second object, and second object is Ferrari, and this is the third object, and third object is electric car. So here the class is the logical entity, and object is the physical entities. A class in a Python can be created using a keyword class. Here we are creating an empty class without any members by just using the keyword pass within it. So if you want to create empty class, we have to use the pass we have to pass within it. So this is the keyword class and this is the name point, and here I am passing the pass, and this is my print statement. The output would be main. So the term double underscore main is indicates that the class point is in the main scope of the current module. In other words, this class is at the top level while executing the program. Now a user defined data type point got created. So here so point is the user defined data type. So user defined data type point got created, and this can be used to create any number of object of this class. So using this point, so we can create any number of objects. Just you observe the following statement. The statement is p it's equal to point parenthesis. Now a reference of easy understanding, treat reference as a pointer. To point object is created and is returned. This return reference is assigned to the object p. So here the return object is p. The process of creating a new object is called as a instantiation, and the object is instance of the class. When we print an object, Python tells which class it belongs to and where it is stored in the memory. So if you print the p, the output would be main.point object at hexadecimal object at address. So this is the address 0x003c1bf0. This is the address is in the form of hexadecimal. The output displays, so this is the output displays the address in hexadecimal format of the object in the memory. It is now clear that the object, it occupies the physical space, whereas the class does not. Now we will look into attributes. An object can contain a named elements known as attributes. One can assign the values to these attributes using a dot operators. For example, keeping coordinate point in mind, we can assign the two attributes x and y for the object P of the class point. So P is the class point and x and y are the attributes. So here I am going to create P dot x is equal to 10 and P dot y is equal to 20. A state diagram that shows an object and its attributes is called as a object diagram. For the object P, the object diagram is shown in this figure, and this is the object diagram. The diagram indicates that a variable, that is object P, refer to a point object which contains a two attributes. Two attributes are x and y. Each attributes refer to the floating point numbers. So x is referred to 10.0. 10.0 is the first floating point, and y is referred to 20.0, and 20.0 is the second floating point. One can assess the attributes of an objects. So for example, if you print p dot x, the interpreter will print the 10. If you print p dot y, the interpreter will print 20. Here p dot x means go to the object P, refer to and get the value of x. The attributes of an object can be assigned to the other variable. So let's consider one more example. X is equal to p dot x. So if you print x, the Python interpreter will print the 10 value. So here p dot x is referred to 10. So refer to 10. So again p dot x we assign to x variable. So here the variable x is nothing to do with the attribute x. There will not be any name conflict between the normal programming variable and attributes of an object. So if you say x is equal to p dot x, if you print x, the Python interpreter will print the x value, x assigned value. So here p dot x is equal to 10. So 10 we assign to x variable. So if you print x, the interpreter will print 10.0. There is no conflict between the normal programming variable and attributes of the objects. Let's try all these things in Python interpreter. So if you want to create an empty class, so we have to pass within it. So here keyword is class. So this is my Python interpreter. Here I am using IDLE shell. So the keyword is class and point colon is the syntax. So here I am passing the keyword pass. So after that I am going to print point. So the output would be the output class is double underscore main point. So just you run this. The output is double underscore main, again double underscore dot point. So the class is main dot point. Now I am going to create the point object, and again I am returning the point objects. So here the point object is, let's assume point object is P, it's equal to point parenthesis. So this is my point object. So after that I am going to print the point object P. So if you run this code, the output would be the main dot point object at and this is the location. So just you run this. The output would be, so double underscore main and double underscore dot point object at 0x00000232 AFD44670. So here, so this is the hexadecimal format. The output displays the address in hexadecimal format of the object in the memory. So now it's clear that the object occupies the physical space where class does not. So till here we created the object but does not occupies any physical space. But after that, so here we created the object. So this object, it occupies the physical space. Now I am going to create the two attributes. So let's keep coordinator in mind. The attributes are x and y. So here point is p dot. So using dot operators we can create the attributes. So p dot x is my first coordinator, and my values are 10. Let us assume 10.0, and my second coordinator is p dot y. It's equal to, let us assume 20.0. So here x is my first coordinate point and y is my second coordinate point. So if you want to print x coordinate value, so we have to specify the object and attributes. So within the parenthesis we have to give p dot x. So this instruction will print the value 10. So just you run this. So it will print 10. So if you want to print y coordinate value, so again we have to print p dot y coordinate value. So here, so Python interpreter will print x coordinate value and y coordinate value. So just you run this. So it will print 10 and 20. So this is the class and this is the object physical address, and this is the x coordinate value and this is the y coordinate value. So here p dot x means, p dot x or p dot y means is go to an object p and refer to and get the value of x. So x value is 10 and y value is 20. Let's consider a complete program. The program is write a class point representing a point on coordinate system. Implement the following function. The first task is a function read underscore point to receive the x and y attributes of the point object as a user input. So this is the first task. The second task is a function distance which takes the two objects of a point class as a arguments and computes the Euclidean distance between them. So Euclidean distance is the, for example, so we have a two coordinate point. Let us assume the first coordinate point is x1 and y1, and second coordinate points are x2 and y2. So distance d, it's equal to root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. So this is the formula for Euclidean distance. This is the second task. The third task is a function print underscore point to display one point in the form of the ordered pair. So here, so we have to calculate the distance. So we need to import the math module. So first, so if you want to write the Python code, so we need to import the Python module. The module name is maths. So this is the first step. So after that, I am creating the class point. So keyword is CLASS and name, I name it as point. So this is a class point representation representing a coordinate point. So after that, I'm going to create the function. The keyword is def. My first function is read underscore point. So here I create the object p dot x is equal to float of input x coordinate. So this will take the input from the user, and float is the type converter. And next coordinating point is y. P dot y is equal to float of input of y coordinate. So this function will take the user input. User inputs are x and y. My next function is def print underscore point of p. So this will print the p dot x and p dot y value. So this is my third function. The third function is distance. So this will calculate the coordinate point distance. So keyword is def and function I name it as distance of p1 comma p2. So here I am going to find out the distance. D is equal to maths dot square root of p1 dot x minus p2 dot x. So let us assume this is p1 of x and y, and this is the p2. So here if you want to find out the Euclidean distance, the formula is root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. So here square root of p1 dot x minus p2 dot x. So this minus this value whole square plus p1 dot y minus p2 dot y whole square. So after that I am returning the distance d. So here I am importing the mathematical model. After that I am creating the class, and after that I am creating the functions. Now we have to create the object. So object I name it as p1. P1 it's equal to point of. So point is my class name. So after that I'm going to print the enter first point and read underscore point of p1. So this will read the x and y for p1, x and y for the p1. So next object is p2. It's equal to point. The print statement is enter the second point, and read statement is read underscore point of p2. So this will read the x and y for p2. So here I created the two objects. My first object is p1 and second object is p2. My attributes are p1 attributes are x and y, and p2 attributes are x and y. So after that I'm going to print the distance. So distance it's equal to distance of my first object is p1 comma p2. So this will compute the distance. So after that I'm going to print the first point is print underscore point of p1. Then I'm going to print the second point is print underscore point of p2. It will print the p2, and my last print statement is distance. So this will print the distance. So if you run this code in Python interpreter, the output would be, so first Python interpreter will asking the enter the first point. So we have to enter the first point. Let assume the x coordinate is 10 and y coordinate is 20, and again Python interpreter will asking the second point. So x coordinator I enter 3 and y coordinator I enter 3. The Python interpreter will display the first point is this is the print statement. The first point is 10 comma 20. My second point is 3 comma 5, and this is the distance. So here the P1 values are 10 comma 10 comma 20 20, and P2 values are 3 comma 5 3 comma 5. So distance d is equal to square root of x minus x whole square. So here the first x is P1, and second x is P2x. So here first x is 10 and second value is 3 plus y minus y. So here the first y is P1y and second is second object y. So here the first y value is 20 and second one is 5. So distance, calculated distance is 16.55. So let's try this in Python interpreter. So here I am importing the mathematical module. So here I created the class and I name it as point. So this is the class point representing the coordinate point. So here I created the three functions. This is my first function, this is my second, and this is my third function. The first function is take the input from the user. The second function is printing statement, and third function is calculating the distance. So after that I am creating the object. The objects are P1 and P2, and these are my printing statement. So this will print the P1 coordinator, P1 x value and P1 y value, and this will print the P2 x value and P2 y value, and this printing statement will compute the distance. So now you run this code. The Python interpreter will asking the user input. So my x coordinator is 10. So again the interpreter is asking the y coordinate. Let assume y coordinate value is 20, and again the interpreter is asking the enter the second point. So here 10 and 20 are the P1 object attributes. Then P2 object attributes x coordinate value, let assume it's equal to 3 and y coordinate is 5. So here the first point is 10 comma 20 and second point is 3 comma 5, and distance is 16.5529. So now let us discuss the working of the above program thoroughly. The class point containing a string enclosed with the 3 double quotes. This is known as a docstring. Usually a string literal is written within a 3 consecutive double quotes inside a class, module or function definition. It is an important part of documentation and is to help someone to understand the purpose of said class, module or function. The docstring becomes a value for the special attributes wise So double underscore doc, again double underscore, available for any classes and object of that class. To get the value docstring associated with the class, one can use the statement like this: print of point dot double underscore dot, again double underscore. This is the class point representing a coordinate point. So note that you need to type 2 underscore, then the word doc, doc, and again 2 underscore. So here 2 underscore the word doc and again 2 underscore. In the above program, there is no need of docstring, and we would have just used the pass to indicate an empty class, but it is a better to understand the professional way of writing the user defined types, and hence is introducing the docstrings. The function read underscore point, it takes a one argument of the type point object. When we use the statement like read underscore point of p1, the parameter p of this function will act as a alias for the argument p1. Hence, the modification done to the alias p is reflect the original argument p1. With the help of this function, we are introducing the Python that objects P1 as a two attributes. The attributes are x and y. The function print underscore point also takes the one argument, and with the help of the format string, we are printing the attributes x and y of the point object as a ordered pair x comma y. We know that the Euclidean distance between the two objects x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y1 is, so distance is d is equal to root of x2 minus x1 whole square or x1 minus x2 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square or y1 minus y2 whole square. Here in this program, we have a point object as a p1 dot x comma p1 dot y, and p2 dot x comma p2 dot y is apply the formula on this point by passing the object p1 and p2 as parameter to the function distance, and then return the result. Thus, the above program gives an idea of defining a class, instanting object create the attributes, defining the function that takes the object as arguments, and finally the calling or invoking the such function whenever and whatever necessary. Note that user-defined classes in Python have a two type of attributes: the class attributes and instant attributes. The class attributes are defined inside the class, usually immediately after the class header. They are common to all the objects of the class. That is, they are shared by all the objects created from that class. But instance attributes is defined for individual objects. They are available only for that instance. Or objects attributes of one instance are not available for another instance of the same class. For example, so here I created the class point. So here my first object is p1. P1 is p1 of point is my class name. So and the attributes, p1 attribute is x and y. So here p1 dot x is equal to 10 and p1 dot y is equal to 20. After that I'm going to print the p1 dot x and p1 dot y. This is my print statement. The Python interpreter will print the 10.0 and 20.0. Again, I am going to create the second object of the class. So my second object is p2. My first object is p1, and my second object is p2. P2 is equal to point of. After that, I am going to print the p2 of x. So it displays the error. It displays the attribute error. The point object has no attribute of x. So this clearly indicates that the attributes of x and y is created or available only for the object p1 but not for the p2. Thus x and y are instance attribute but not the class attributes. So just you observe the example. So here I created class. The keyword is class point, and here the variable here my variables are x and y, and I assign the value uh, 2 to x and 3 to y. So after that I am going to create the object. The my first object I name it as p1. P1 is equal to point parenthesis. So after that I am going to print p1 dot x comma p1 dot y. So this printing statement will print the x value and y value. So x assigned value is 2 and y assigned value is 3. So it will print 2 and 3. Again I am going to create the second object of the class. So second object I name it as p2. It's equal to point parenthesis. My printing statement is print of p2.x comma p2.y. So this print statement it prints the 2 comma 3. Here the attributes x and y are defined inside the definition of the class point itself. Hence they are available to all the object of that classes.
These are some references. Thank you.